What's up, everybody? Steven here with Neural DSP on another week of Q&A. How's everybody doing? Good to see some familiar faces. Aaron Williams says, Wednesday already? Dude, I've said that almost every day this week. The quarantine has blurred my weeks into just one long, just grind fest. Because I'm at home every day, working on content. I only know what day it is by, Wednesday. I have the stream. Yeah. So how's everybody doing? Roland Lemus says he got the Abasi and is learning a lot. Awesome, dude. Congratulations. Scotty Dog, what's up, dude? Scotty Dog says, Steven, I'd appreciate if you could let me know when the Archetype Nolly flash sale will be. Thanks. A winky face. We'll see, man. We'll see. All right. Aaron Williams says, just finished up another song using the Plini. That plugin has been my go-to for so many tones. Awesome, dude. Fantastic. When it's finished, put it up in the Neural DSP forum and tag me. I'd love to check it out. There's a lot of really talented people in this group, and it's really awesome to see what you guys are working on during this time. So, let's see. Roland says, I've heard many cool things about the Plini, and the week's been good so far. We'll work crap, but I'm back on private time, which is music time, he says. That's awesome, dude. Fantastic. Yeah, so the Plini is probably one of our most popular plugins by far. As far as sales and consensus from the Facebook group and people that use it, it's one of my go-tos for clean tones, and the reverb and the delay in the Archetype Plini are almost always my go-to whenever I want any sort of post effects or something like that for leads and whatnot. So yeah, it's worth looking into, man. If you haven't gotten the trial yet, do so. You'll thank me later. Fuentes says, hello, everyone. What's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Yeah, Aaron Williams says Plini is too much fun. Chunko says, not bad. Picked up the Granifier with a flash sale over the weekend, so it's been a heavy week so far. Fuck yeah, dude. Dude, the Granifier gets just mean instantly, and I love it. It's so cool. I actually hadn't tried an Omega Ampworks, an Omega powered by Omega amp before that. I had heard of the Granifier and I'd heard of the Iridium, but I hadn't had a chance to check it out. But yeah, no, the Granifier is sick. Okay, so Roland Lemus says, I'm trying to figure out which MIDI pedal to get for the Abasi. Any suggestions? I always like having something that is a little bit more flexible. So I got the FCB 1010, which it's okay. I mean, there's a learning curve to MIDI controllers. I've seen people using the MIDI Commander, which is a little bit more compact. The reason why I went with the Behringer is because it has 2 expression pedals already on the board. So it kind of depends on what you want to use it for. Excuse me. If I had to go back and redo it again, I might check out the MIDI Commander, actually. You have to get separate expression pedals that plug into the back of the board, but for me, I like something that has a very, very small footprint, honestly, and the Behringer is just a massive, massive board. But if you're looking for something that's very, very simple, I mean, honestly, cause I did the video using the Fortin Hydra MIDI pedal, and all that does is it just sends program change messages, PC messages. So you can do all of your functions with the PC messages, like change your presets, and turn things on and off, and then dial in specific values and stuff like that. So even just a simple MIDI pedal sending program change messages can be pretty powerful. But I do like having the option of the expression pedal. So maybe MIDI Commander, maybe the Behringer FCB 1010 might be ones that you look into. But I mean, there's a ton out there for sure. But those are the ones that I would start with first and see which one you think you might jive with a little bit better, All right. Lewis S. says the Granifier tone is Syrup City. Absolute gem. Dude, I agree. I've never heard it described as Syrup City, but I like that. I'm going to have to start using that. Yeah, no worries, Roland. No worries. Yeah, so Roland follows up with just getting into my presets, really nothing else. Yeah, definitely something very, very simple. I've not looked at the Harley Benton. I'm just gonna look this up real fast. MP100. Yeah, yeah, that looks fine. MIDI controller, foot controller, and then yeah, that looks great. Honestly, like. Dusty Jackal asks, any updates coming to the Parallax? I know that the dudes are working on several updates right now. I think that there's going to be one for the Parallax, but I'm not 100% sure what they're actually going to be updating. Maybe just more bug fixes or stability fixes, something like that, but I'm not 100% sure. Ironus123 says, damn, I missed the flash sale. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Make sure that you're subscribed to the mailing list. If for some reason you're not getting our emails, though, hit up support@neuraldsp.com. I've seen in the Facebook group a couple of times people are saying that they're not getting emails from us. So, after you check your spam and your filters and stuff like that, then, if you're still not getting it from us and you're subscribed, then go back and talk to support@neuraldsp.com. Yeah, man. Jason Clement says I'm holding out for the quad Cortex instead of getting a MIDI controller. Yeah, dude. Yes, I am totally with that point of view. Yeah. Oh, nice. Fuentes says thanks for uploading the Tosin Abasi's NAMM presets. Loving that one in particular. Which one are you talking about? I think I know which one you're talking about. But I'm curious. I mean, I can pretty much say anything on these Q&As, so I don't mind language in general. So, Aaron Williams says, Steven, has there been any updates on the Quad Cortex? Things have been quiet on Duck's Insta, and I'm way too excited. I haven't seen anything yet on my end. Honestly, I'm not generally like in those conversations too often. So I haven't heard anything just yet. Last I saw, they were doing the wah pedal. Or no, it was the tuner pedal. It was like a Digitech whammy sort of thing. That's the last thing that I saw, but I've also been like super busy trying to just make content for the channel. So I haven't heard anything yet, but I know that they're working hard right now. Madeira says, I'm using the UR44 with the archetype Nolly, but I'm mainly hearing the direct sound from the guitar and barely the plugin, and there's no direct monitoring switch on the interface. Can you help me? So first place that I'm going to start looking is if there's any sort of like routing or controls software installed with the drivers for your interface. So like I'll show you what I got on my computer. Let me make sure that I changed that. Oh, where'd my face go? Hi, there I am. Haha. Okay. So this is what I have with my Scarlett 18920, and you're gonna have something maybe relatively similar to this. And again, I'm not really familiar with the UR44, but generally most of these interfaces have something similar to this. So like in my monitor outputs 1 and 2. So this is my main speakers coming out. I have analog 5 and 6, and I have playback 1 and 2. So like I have whatever is plugged into my 5 and 6 inputs is also coming out my 1 and 2. So like say, for instance, so you see my signal is coming out analog 3. I don't necessarily have to have a button on my interface that says direct routing or direct monitoring. But if this was somehow, unfortunately, like, active, then I would actually start hearing that through my monitors. Because my playback 1 and 2 is where I'm actually getting my DAW audio or my standalone audio. So like if I was to plug into this guy, okay, Let's say I turn on the Fort and Cali. Right, so you hear my DI and you hear my guitar. So like this is my DAW audio. This is my direct monitoring. So you're gonna have something along those lines, and like it's gonna take a little bit of digging, because like there's different like layers. So like I have like 20 outputs, I think, or something like that, between all of these things. So like I have my 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's just a matter of like scrolling through and finding where that thing is. Like there's an old like audio engineering axiom that it's like just press buttons until the thing works, you know? I find that approach in general and in life has worked fairly well for me. Just press buttons till things work, and then you should be good. So hopefully that helps. Maxim Minko says, I've just pre-ordered Quad Cortex. Hope I'll learn how to play guitar till November. Dude, yeah. If there's anything that's going to motivate you to do that, a new shiny piece of gear that's going to make you sound awesome, we'll definitely do it. Howard Munger says, Omega Sale got me that plugin is ridiculous. Hell yeah, dude. Fuentes says, swear I can hear that. Oh, bam! After you said Steven here with Neural DSP. I know, dude. Like that's now become the thing. My coworkers were like teasing me with it at the NAMM show. Like I would walk into a room and Seba, the support dude's like, "What's up, everybody? It's Steven Neural DSP." Boom! Like I love it. All right, Roland Lemus. Can we talk about cabs? What do you want to know? Yeah, we talk about anything here, man. What you got? Yeah, Madeira says, all right, I'll see if I can find. Thanks. Yeah, no worries. I mean, like honestly, without actually seeing the interface itself, it's you're gonna have to kind of like dig through and just like start pressing buttons and figure out where things are. Okay. Oh, Roland. So he says, can we talk about cabs, like using them with existing plugins on DSP? Hard to do or easy? Okay. So there's actually a video on the channel where I went over this exact thing and kind of like the general go-to ideas and like principles that you would use to play live. Like I'm guessing that's sort of what you would. Oh, wait, are you talking about playing live, or are you talking about using external impulse responses? That's a different thing. So, because you just followed up with I'm guessing GGD Zilla. Michael D, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Jason Clement says, I always get triggered by Windows 10 desktops that have the start bar, start a search bar enabled. Yeah, it's Windows 10. It is what it is. You know, I like. I'm such a. Despite how much tweaking I do with like mixing and despite like the level of intensity that I get when I'm like researching a certain product or project or whatever, like there are certain things that I'm so like hands off about, like start a search bar, Windows 10 and customizing, like this sort of stuff. Like it's just so like I'm like I don't even like I don't need to change it right now, so I'm just gonna focus all my energy on the things that are going to like push the needle and make everything else work, you know? Because I see it, but I don't see it anymore. You know, like you get that like sensory adaptation. You just stop seeing certain things in your world because it's like they're always there. Oh, nice. So Michael D says, "Good to be here, especially since I'm back at the office now." Nice, dude. Awesome. Okay, so Roland says I was reading others using them for DSP and they liked the tones with them, so I was just curious. Okay. So using like an impulse response, external impulse response. I mean, the easiest way to look at that is let me pull up my I changed my scenes and there I am. Awesome. So the easiest way to do that would be to load your custom impulse response. Let me make sure that I'm not. I gotta find something real fast. And Dropbox. Here we go. I gotta look through my folders. So there we are. Okay. Oops, not that one. Oh yeah. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so like these are two impulse responses that Nolly uploaded to the Facebook group. So basically what I did is I just went to the drop-down menu, load custom impulse response, and then double-click that, and then that should work. Nollyzilla, that sort of stuff. I can do kind of cool because when you have all of your impulse responses in a single folder, you can just open it up and then click on the one that you want. Load custom impulse response. I can go to my let's see. Let's go to ownhammer. Like a recto cab. I have no idea which ones of these are good or not. You know, I've barely even touched these, to be very honest. But basically, what people are talking about when they want to use impulse responses is that like getting an impulse response is like having access to a cabinet that you don't own. It's one of the reasons why people do impulse responses of cabinets, you know, when they're in studio or something like that, because then they can take it with them or sell it to somebody else or share it or whatever. Because it's like, I don't always have access to a studio. Maybe studio whatever, you know, that's like 3 miles away or maybe across country, have the exact cabinet and microphone setup that I want. And then I can purchase that impulse response and then utilize that on my my track. Now, there's definitely an argument to be made whether it's, you know, wholly necessary to have, you know, a full library of impulse responses, but you know, it's mainly just so you can get different flavors. Like I've talked about impulse responses before, in that you like your mix is a puzzle, and you want to have the right piece to fit into the puzzle. So your impulse response is going to be that piece. The wrong impulse response is going to sound awful, and it's going to really pile up certain frequencies, maybe a bit too mid-heavy. I find that like 421s are generally just too whistly for my taste, so that I tend to not really work with 421s very often. At least when it comes to metal, they get too whistly. Like clean stuff, they actually sound pretty awesome. But anyway, so yeah, so like using additional impulse responses is like, you know, extending your palette, you know, like if you know, I'm mixing metaphors at this point, but like when you're talking about like painting, like, you know, you have your red, orange, yellow, and blue. Well, what if I want to go with a cyan or something like that? Whatever. So that's kind of the idea behind getting additional impulse responses. Yeah, no worries, man. He says, very enlightening, and I appreciate the time to explain that. Very helpful. My pleasure, man. That's what I'm here for, you know? Dusty Jackal said, question about the Parallax. Why doesn't it have a built-in tuner like the Dark Glass Ultra? Because it hasn't been updated yet. The Dark Glass Ultra update came out, I believe that we're actually still on version 1.0 of the Parallax. But I'm sure that that's being worked on to be updated currently. Let's see. All right. Kevin Falk, are there ready-to-play presets loaded into the Quad Cortex? Will more be added later on? I'm sure there will be. I know that there's going to be, you know, we're going to continue expanding our own like social media and preset sharing ability, so that way you guys can kind of like, you know, share your tones and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Dusty. John McDaniel, what's up? He said, "Hey, I'll stop in work for a bit to hang out and see what's new." Dude, just hanging out. You know, it's another good Wednesday. Just chilling. Talked about some IR, some quad Cortex, and parallax and updates and such. Let's see. All right. Dominic Jones says, "Hi, what type of pedals will the quad Cortex be able to capture? I know about drive and boosts, but what about delays, synths like Boss or EHX, etc.? Is that technology even possible? Hope you're well, dude." Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I believe that we'll be able to capture delays and I don't know about synths, but the delays, verbs, I'm pretty sure. Basically, the capture is going to be able to take a snapshot of like the settings in their current state. So I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a possibility. But I would definitely, I'm going to check in on that for sure. Okay, so Marcelo asks, will you be doing soon a demo of the capture system? Is it going to work only of pedals? No, so like pedals are one thing that it can capture, but mainly I'm sure it's going to be used to capture your amplifier heads. So like when I get my factory version of the quad Cortex, I'm going back into the studio and I'm going to be capturing like all of the heads that they have there, you know. So like I'll have at least like 15 or 16, and what I want to do is I want to have sort of like an accuracy, can you tell the difference between the two, just so, you know, to really kind of expand on, you know, some of the stuff that's already been kind of like talked about and captured. So yes, yeah. I don't know exactly when I'm supposed to be getting mine. I don't know the timeline at this point, but I know it's going to be very, very soon, because I need to start working on demos like pretty much immediately because September is right around the corner. But yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely have a lot of demos. Once I get it, I'm going to be uploading a lot. I'm pretty sure at some point in the near future, within the next couple of months, I'm going to be bumping up the number of pieces of content I'll be uploading to the YouTube channel to 2 a week instead of just 1 a week. So, but that will also be supplemented by a lot of quad Cortex stuff. So yes, long-winded answer, cut down. Yes. Jeremy Fox, what's up, dude? He asks, any plans for another riff competition? There's no way I'd win, but I haven't been able to join any so far, and seems hella fun. It is hella fun. Yes, yeah, there is. I'm actually currently working on some riffs and some drum patterns right now. I have a couple of other, I have like 2 pieces of content right now on my plate that I'm kind of like focusing on first. But the riff competition is in the works. And I'm hoping to maybe even get somebody else in on just my own collaboration, you know, so that way it's not just me playing all the parts this time. So yes. All right. Ironess123 says, when using 2 suites together, is it recommended to gain stage between them? So I'm going to guess if you say that you're using 2 suites together, it's in series and not in parallel. So in series, like, here, I'll go back to my Pro Tools screen. So like, I'm going to guess that you're talking about doing like the Plini, mono stereo. That's fine. So like, say I wanted to use I'll use the cab and the effects from the Plini. Yes. Long story short, yes, you will need to make sure that you are gain staging properly. Because what happens is when you take out the impulse response from one of the plugins, generally there's a volume difference. Mute that because I don't want direct monitoring. Yeah, so there is like a little bit of a volume difference. So just be aware when you're using them in series that you want to be aware of. Like, I think the nameless actually is a little bit more extreme than this. Let me try something real quick. Active, nameless, mono. Because I think that when you disengage the impulse response, I think... Yeah, you can see that there's a severe drop in volume output. So you will have to make sure that you are gain staging properly between your plugins if you're using them in series. All right, so let's go back to the chat and make sure that that was exactly what you were talking about. Let's see. Peter M. What's about tuner and basic metronome on each neural plugin? The updates are coming for the tuner. I don't know if there's going to be a metronome added to the plugins or not. I kind of doubt it, but I am not a part of those discussions, to be very honest. So I'm not 100% sure. If I have Doug or Francisco on the Q&A, which I hope to have them on very soon, especially just to update you guys on the Q&A or the Cortex, just to say that everything is on schedule, then ask then, and I'm sure they'll have an answer for you, whether they're going to add a metronome or not. So, Marcelo, no problem. He says the hype now is a million. Thanks, dude. And great work yours. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. All right. Screwtape says, is there another plugin you would recommend for 8-string guitar other than Archetype Abasi? Screwtape. Let's see. I mean, pretty much any of them can handle an 8-string guitar. I don't know. I think maybe if I was to go with something like right now, for my personal preferences on 8-string guitar, like I would probably lean towards the Kali, the Granifier, the Nameless, maybe the NTS if I wanted something with a little more high-end sizzle to it. But yeah, those would be my go-tos personally. Like if I'm going to be writing, generally speaking, I'll be using the Granifier or the Kali for writing. Like you saw in my session, I actually have like a session up that's just strictly for like just kind of like noodling. And that's what I use that's what I use is the Fortin Kali or the Granifier. So yeah. All right, let's go back down to the end of the chat. Okay, so nice. Yeah, Matthew Alenius says Granifier has been an absolute godsend for G sharp and below. Yeah, dude. Joey asks, why can't I bounce a Logic session without freezing the tracks with the Neural DSP plugin on them? It's such a downer. Dude, I gotta freeze tracks all the time. You know, it is what it is. These plugins, when you get into the Neural DSP plugin, you're essentially going for one of the most realistic recreation of a physical amp head. Like the mathematical models that are going into making the tones that you hear are very, very complex and they're very CPU heavy. So you're paying a premium for something that sounds amazing. And I mean, like, so I have an i9 9900K. I have an 8-core. I have a computer that's spec'd out for being a DAW machine, but I still have to freeze tracks. It's just what it is. You know, the thing that I can offer is just building into your system and your workflow the moments when you need to freeze your tracks. So like I generally will freeze my tracks whenever I need to take a break. So I know if I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to go get a snack, I'm going to freeze all my tracks while that's happening, so that way it's not a downer. So that way my workflow isn't really broken up by the monotony of having to freeze tracks. You know, find ways to work around these sorts of things, because honestly, like, the tones that you're getting from these plugins are worth the wait, you know? Yeah. So that's okay. So he's responding. It's not about CPU. It's about the bounce crashing when I don't freeze tracks. That's fascinating. I don't know. You may check in with support, honestly. If you're having crashes and it's... Okay, yeah. So you say your system is massively spec'd and can bounce every other session. Check in with support. See if they can help you optimize your setup for the plugins. I mean, it's worth a shot, you know. And support is awesome, and I know that they'll do everything in their power to help make sure that that's, you know, working for you. Roland asks, what is freezing tracks about? Never experienced that at all. Okay, so what freezing a track is, you are temporarily rendering everything on that effects chain. So I'll have Omega Amberworks Grandifier on like 4 guitars. Now, if I know that I'm not going to be tweaking them at any point, I can save CPU by temporarily rendering them in place, so that way the plugins aren't actively processing the audio when I play back. That's generally what it is. Yeah, Joey says, we'll check with support. Thanks. I use these on every project, basically. Me too, man. Me too. Yeah, Dan's coming in with the support and neural DSP will help you out. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what they're there for. And honestly, I feel like we have the best support in the game right now. And it's not just because I'm biased. So Thrash Metal Man says, do you know how your modeler's architecture differs from, say, Line 6 or other modelers? That's a question that you're going to have to ask either Francisco or Doug. I'm not too familiar with that end of the project. So, yeah, I hope to get them on the Q&A soon. I know that they're super, super busy right now. But, yeah, definitely. All right, let me go back up through the chat and see if I missed anything. Yeah, so Jason Clement says, I use an Aristides 080 SR with Lundgren Black Heavens. I've heard those Lundgren pickups are really good. He says, and the Grandifier is love. The Cali is definitely a great option, though. I was surprised how heavy that thing got. I'm not, man. If it comes from Fortin, like, I actually was surprised at how clean it got. Because, you know, it's like, I was told that there was going to be a Fortin plugin coming out, and I was like, sick, awesome. I wasn't super familiar with the Cali, so I didn't know exactly what it entailed. I knew it was going to be heavy. I didn't know I would like the cleans so much. Let's see. Okay, so John McDaniel asks, silly question maybe, but what is the difference between running the plugins in series versus parallel? When would you choose one over the other? Okay, so in series or in parallel. In series means that you would basically set up like an effects chain, or like, you know, you would set up, you know what, I'll just show you on my Pro Tools screen. So like right now, make active, I have my Fortin nameless, I turn off the impulse response, and you could do pretty much any combination, you know, therein. So like this is a setup in series where I have one after the other. So it's serial, you know, one after the other. I can set up additional ones beforehand or after. That's what serial means. Now, if I set up two auxes, so I have both of these coming from bus 1 and 2. Sure. Oh, you know what? Actually, I should probably do this instead. So I'm going to create 2 buses. And I'm going to go Shift Tab, edit, mono. So I'm going to go mono because I'm going to duplicate. So I have 2 mono buses. Now this is just to amalgamate a single signal. So I'm going to route that. Just I'm doing this on the fly, so you know, pardon the dust real quick. Let me just get this to bus 1. Okay, so now I have. So now I have both of these buses getting my signal. So I'm going to make this inactive and this inactive. But say I wanted to do something like the nollie, mono to stereo. And I'm going to do another instance of nollie mono to stereo on the second one. Now this would be in parallel. So if I wanted to set up a clean tone with an overdrive pedal on one side, let's back the volume down maybe just a little bit, and then on the other one I'm going to make just a straight clean. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. Right, so let's go back to my saturated one, and I'm going to bump the gain up a little bit. So now I have layered 2 different guitar tones on top of each other. So I have like sort of a saturated kind of guitar tone on one end and then clean on the other. This is what it means to have your plugins in parallel. That way you can kind of blend tones together. Like you could even set up like additional, you know, you can have 2 buses serialized, you know. So like the possibilities are kind of endless in that sense. So I'll go ahead and make those inactive so they're not eating up my CPU. So that's a way that you could definitely process your signal. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. Daniel Flores asks, can you explain how the Quad Cortex is going to work with multiple instruments? Can you use it as an interface for multiple instruments? Yes, yes. Yes and yes. So the multiple instruments, because it's going to have 4 individual inputs and 4 individual outputs. So you can have up to 4 people plugged into the singular board. And then again, you know, when you're using it for your interface, I'm sure that there will be the option in your DAW to have inputs 1, 2, 3, or 4 active on your channels. So that's generally speaking how it's going to go. But I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but you have this grid on the front, and that represents your 4 lines of audio processing. So you can have like input 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then just have your signal processes going all the way across, you know, like overdrive pedals, heads, impulse responses, delays, reverbs, and that could all be on one line. So that's 1 input to 1 output. Your second one could be your other guitar, third one could be your bass, fourth could be a vocalist or something like that. So yeah, that's generally how it's going to work. Let's see. Okay, let's go and go back down to the end of the chat. Alex Forrest asks, any ideas if there are any plans for a vocoder in the Quad Cortex? I don't know, actually. Maybe post about it in the Facebook group. Get the guys' attention. See if that's gonna work. John McDaniel, no worries, man. He says that makes complete sense. I appreciate you going through the demo for me, if I can read. I don't have my glasses on either. Like I try to keep my glasses off during this because I don't like the glare. Like I like y'all seeing my eyeballs. Yeah, what's up, Alex? How you doing, man? Let's see. Yeah. Pavel says sounds very Fenderish. Talking about the tone when I was working on the demo. Lear, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Okay. Okay, so Oliver Massey asks, I'm interested to use this, I'm sure speaking of the Quad Cortex, as an external processor. Neural plugins hit my CPU hard. How will this work? Does it need to go through my Focusrite to Cubase? Will I need a load box to use this? I believe that it will take the place of your audio driver. So like say in Pro Tools, you go up here to Playback Engine and pick your audio driver, and I believe that you will just use that as your audio driver. That way you can get the inputs and outputs through that. All right. Lear says, "Hey Steve, sorry I'm late. What did I miss?" See what have we been talking about? We talked about the Quad Cortex a bit. On schedule, no updates as of this exact moment. Demos are coming soon. Updates are coming to the plugins. We talked about serial versus parallel and plugin processing. All good things. How's everything going with you? John McDaniel says, I'm an optometrist. I'll let you not wearing your glasses slide this time. My vision actually isn't that bad. What it is I have I think it's an astigmatism where like my eyes have trouble focusing vertically. So like when I look at the screen, I see the words, but I also see like almost a double vision of it. Like, yeah. So my glasses do correct for that. But I hate wearing glasses, so it is what it is. Yeah. Ironus actually brings up a good point. He's about to miss the fantastic NTS sale. So if you want the Fortin NTS, there's 10 minutes left till it's taken off of flash sale. So if you want to get it, now is the time to do so. That's a good question. All right. Fuentes says, Astigmatism gang, rise up. Yeah, dude. We can all not see the world perfectly together. Ironus says, yes, please. I missed the Grandifier sale in response to should we do another flash sale? I'm pretty sure the chances of us doing another flash sale are pretty good at this point. But you know what? We all need to hear from you guys in the chat. So Lear says, yeah, not bad, Steve. Nothing new, just fine tuning my sound overall. Yeah, people are stoked on the flash sales. Yeah, man, again, like I'm not really privy to a lot of the things that happen behind the scenes at Neural, so I was just as surprised as everybody to see them go on flash sale. I mean, Chase says, will Dark Glass go on sale? I mean, I'm sure probably at some point. We'll see. Honestly, I've actually been using the Dark Glass Ultra a lot recently for my bass tones. Like I love the parallax. Obviously, I use it in every single mix. But a lot of like the rock stuff that I've been working on needs that sort of more mid-rangey kind of sound, which the VDU setting on the Dark Glass Ultra absolutely pulls off. Okay, Barris Benice says, hey Steve, can you show us a demonstration about how you send two mono raw audio channels to send to a stereo channel and hard pan left and right in the plugin with using two mics separately for left and right? Okay. Yes, I can do that. I did do I did do a video on that. It was something about the it was what was it? How to optimize your CPU or things that you can do to optimize your CPU. But so let's do something real quick. Okay, this is gonna take me just a second. Okay, this is gonna be super dumb. Right? Just something real stupid and simple. Okay, so I have let's see, 2 mono stereo, 2 mono GTR. Okay, so let's just say I have this. Oops. Okay. Okay, so these I'm gonna pan hard left and hard right. I'm gonna route them to, let's say I'm gonna go. I need a new aux channel, so I'm gonna go stereo aux input. So create. Now in Pro Tools, you always have to specify what bus is the input and what bus is the output. So I'm gonna say bus 3 and 4 are my input. Route 1 and 2 into bus 3 and 4. Okay, and hopefully y'all can hear that. Let me just make sure. All right, y'all can hear that. Great. So now I have my guitars panned hard left and right, because otherwise this does not work. So let's go into an instance of the Plini stereo. You have to make sure that your mode is set in stereo, otherwise it will not work. And then from there, I mean, if you want to, you can mess with the pan, but I don't really do that too terribly much. Let's see, what else is there? Now, if you have, let me try something else. I believe that if you have a mono aux input, I'm gonna try something real quick. I'm doing an experiment right now, live. So let's do that. Okay. Can do, oops. I need mono to stereo. Plini. Mono to stereo. So if you do one guitar, let's just mute that. Mute that. Put this through to bus. 2. I'm sure this is riveting to watch. Bus 2. So when you have mono to stereo, that's when you can start panning your impulse responses around as well. So yeah, so that's generally like a couple of things that I would consider doing whenever I'm trying to do any sort of panning. But as far as just getting your two stereo, your left and your right track into a single instance of a plugin, that's when you would use a stereo aux. Mono to stereo is engaged, so that way your two are going to be processed left and right separately in the plugin. This is going to bus 3, 4. Yeah, so that's how I would do it, because in that sense, what you're basically doing is cutting down your CPU usage by half, because it's only one plugin. being utilized. Stay. Okay. Let me go back to the chat. All right. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people ask for the dark glass. Interesting. I wouldn't have guessed that it was the dark glass that people are really looking forward to getting. Goes to show you how much I know. Let's see. All right, just reading through the chat at the moment. That's so good. Yeah, Lear says both Dark Glass and Parallax are so good. Definitely worth getting both. Yeah, man, I use both like almost religiously now. Like that's like now my thing. Like being able to use that low band for like the clean compression is so clutch. In like every mix I've used it so far. Cool, awesome. Burry says he's got the idea. Nice, man. Okay, Chunko asks, how do I report a bug with the plugin? I'm seeing minor ones in a Bossy and Granifier. Hit up support@neuraldsp.com. We're actually going to start like kind of clamping down on the Facebook group support questions, only because you guys should be hitting up support anyway, because we want to keep the Facebook group kind of on conversation as far as like just being able to share music and share tones and talk about like awesome things. When there are issues that we want to make everybody aware of, we'll go ahead and make, you know, announcements and stuff like that as far as like updates, bug patches, and whatever. But you guys really should be sending all of your stuff to the support email anyway, because for a couple of reasons. It keeps support updated on everything that they need to be knowledgeable about to help you guys out in order to get the best experience possible. And when they know everything that needs to be fixed with the plugins, then they can make sure that the dev teams are ultimately aware, and then it can get patched much more quickly than if you guys go through the Facebook group. Not only that, but also just to make sure that you're getting the right answer right off of the bat, rather than having to go through, you know, everybody else. So, yeah. Yeah, Madera says the dark glass was how I found Neural DSP. I'm very happy with it. I use it on every bass and also sometimes for drums and guitar. Hell yeah. I've seen a preset in the dark glass, something about like a snare something or other. So I've been really stoked to like try that out actually. It's funny that you say, because I had heard of the dark glass, but not being a bass player, I was like, okay, cool. That's like a tool that I could probably get, you know, later down when I'm doing some more mixing and stuff like that. And then I got the Fortin Nameless, and I was like, oh yes. As a guitar player, I wet my pants, and it was great. Starbucks wasn't too happy with me in that moment, but you know, it was great. So, yeah. Lear says, Steve, I'm still surprised how much I use Parallax over Dark Glass, but you're right about the Dark Glass. It definitely has its place. Yeah, for sure. Like, for a lot of metal, Parallax can definitely handle it. I actually ended up using the Dark Glass more for the Periphery cover that I just did. I used the Dark Glass as, like, the top-end tone, and then the Parallax for, like, more of a supplemental role in that sense. So, like, yeah, I was pretty stoked on that. The results don't lie. So, okay, it is almost 2:00, so let's go ahead and put in for last questions. If you guys got anything for me, yeah, how's everybody's week been? Anything cool that you guys got planned over the next week? Doing some cool songs and stuff like that. So Chase, I see. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're just saying. You're just asking. I saw the please in the comments, and I wasn't sure if he was referring to something else. But he says, "Will Dark Glass go on sale? Please." We'll see. We'll see, man. Yep. Pavel says support from the website. It's on pro level. Great and quick communication. Luckily, I used it only once, and that's awesome, dude. Like, yeah, the support Like I know the guys in support personally, and they're such good people. They're always helpful, always cheerful, and I really really enjoy them as people. So yeah, I mean, like I feel lucky to be backed up by people of that caliber who are also so like knowledgeable and resourceful. It's pretty amazing. So cool. All right. Anybody have some last questions at all? I think because I'm getting ready to turn the air conditioner back on and get on with my day and start making some more content for you guys. So yeah, I guess if that's it, then we'll just go ahead and call that a day. So oh wait, oh wait, oh wait, there's more stuff. Oh, Lear says I was messing around with the Weekend Blinding Lights cover and Dua Lipa. Nice. Um, Parallax that has that nice disco vibe. He says. Simo says there's a way to get rid of or attenuate the fizziness in the Grandifier high gain sound. Okay. Oh, okay. I get what you're asking for. So he's asking, is there a way to get rid of the fizziness in the Grandifier high gain? I would try. Okay, so there's a couple of different things. I mean, like it depends on also what you're talking about fizziness. If you're talking about like the actual tone of the amplifier, or if you're talking like the noise floor. So, if you're talking about like, is there like if there's like a sizzly kind of sound to the tone, I would back off of the presence knob. I would try moving your impulse responses around because the impulse responses are going to take care of a lot of that fizziness. You might back off of the gain just a little bit as well as the high tone stack knob. Yeah, there's a whole slew of things that could be off in the settings. That check your input gain. Like the actual input gain knob. If you back that off a couple of dBs, does that go away? Do you need a compressor before the plugin? There's a bunch of different things. I would definitely experiment with some of those ideas. But yeah, so my order would be move the impulse response around. If you get further away from the cone, that makes it less bright. That doesn't work. Take down I think it's the bright knob. Is it? Let me look it up real quick. Omega. The detail knob. If you look at the detail knob, where is that set? If you back that off, does that fizziness go away? And again, you may change like the voicing around. If you have the voice in the upper switch, upper position, and you have like the mids boosted, that could be causing a little bit more high end than you're looking for, because that voicing switch kind of moves that mid tone stack further up in the frequency spectrum. So that could be causing it. Again, maybe try lowering the gain or switching over to a different tube, because I find the KT66, I use that the least out of the three, because that sound gets really sizzly on the top end, and I generally only use that if I'm going for kind of like brighter tones. So those are a couple of things that you can do. Let's see. Nice. Madera says, sent my band's first song to mastering. Now we just need some photos and we can release after 2 years and 3 singers changing. Woo! I know that pain, dude. I know that pain. For me, it was drummers. I always had a hard time with drummers, and at one point, I went through like 5 or 6 different auditions for my band at the time. Eventually, I just gave up, and then I started making some some solo stuff, and that has been sitting on my external hard drive for like the last 5 years, I think. John McDaniel, any recommendations for a harmonizer plugin? The QC will offer that, correct? I believe it will, but don't quote me on that. Any recommendations for a harmonizer plugin? What's the one that I use? There's one that I use in particular that I really enjoy. Modulation. Let's see if I could find it in this. I have like so many plugins. It's just stupid. It starts with a Q, quad, something or other. Quadravox. Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and pull this up just to. I got it for free. But this thing is pretty awesome because you can pick up to 4 different harmonizing voices and choose the interval. So I've used this a couple of times in a few different productions. You can change the pitch, the low note, yeah, all sorts of stuff. I got it for free. I don't remember exactly how much it is currently, but that's it's what it is. So hopefully you enjoy that. Yeah, Jens confirms what I was mentioning earlier, saying definitely try the 6L6 over the KT66. The KTs are crushing, but not as smooth as the 6L6. I totally agree. Video 4404 says, when can we hear the finished product for the Quad Cortex? Very soon. Again, I'm not exactly sure of the timeline as of this exact moment, but I know that they're going to be sending out some demos, and I'll be getting the factory version of my own Quad Cortex relatively quickly, because I know that they're going to want to roll out a lot of content for you guys to enjoy. Cool. So it's a little past 2 o'clock. And let's just go ahead and call it there. Any questions that I didn't get to this week, go ahead and bring them back next week. As always, I'm going to be here 1 o'clock every Wednesday. Very quickly, Andre asks, which plugin would be more versatile for everything from vintage blues tones to heavy modern metal? Between the Plini or the Nolly. I tried the Plini, but that was a long time ago, so I can't remember. Andre, I think both of those are probably the most versatile bunch that we have, as far as like being able to pull in some really nice, like clean tones, vintage kind of British modern rock tones, vintage British like low gain tones, some like modern rock, and then metal as well. I would lean more towards the Nolly personally. If you didn't take advantage of the trial extension, if you don't see that in your iLock, hit up support and see if you could work out a trial extension with them so you can try out the Plini again. Yeah, no worries, man. John McDaniel says we'll check it out. Thanks for these Q&As. Perfect way to keep me engaged in this world, dude. Same. Like I don't really get to see very many people because I'm at home working. We're in quarantine, you know, so like I can't really go out a whole lot. And I really do enjoy these Q&A sessions. It's really awesome that I get to do this, and I truly do look forward to it every week. So, yeah, I'm just gonna call it there. Thank you all so much for hanging out during these Q&As and asking so many great questions. I do enjoy doing these things. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and call it. And I'll see you all in that next one. Have a good week, y'all.